setup is going to be a better camera setup without a doubt, and honestly, we might as well hit on it. The iPad mini 5 had that single camera setup, that 8 megapixel sensor, but the iPad mini 6 has a 12 megapixel sensor. So that automatically is a pretty big difference, but here's the other massive thing. The iPad mini 5 could only shoot 1080p videos. The iPad mini 6 can now go up to 4K at 60. So that is a very high resolution to film in, especially on an iPad mini 6. And it's still a wide angle lens, where you have that standard lens on the iPad mini 5, but this is what I'll tell you between the two. With the iPad mini 5, that is essentially an iPhone 6 camera, at least on the back. So keep that in mind. The iPhone 6 camera that came out in 2014 is the same one that's pretty much on the back of the iPad mini 5, whereas on the iPad mini 6, that thing actually has pretty much the same camera as an iPhone XR. So still a little bit outdated, but it's a very, big upgrade coming from the predecessor. You have flash on this thing, which looks really good as well, and overall, it's a very good upgrade. Now on top of this though, it just doesn't stop there. The front cameras also got a little bit of an upgrade as well. The iPad mini 5's front camera was a 7 megapixel sensor. I think something along the lines of an iPhone 7. I think that was probably when they switched up, or maybe the iPhone 6s. Now with the iPad mini 6, that is actually now a 12 megapixel sensor. You can go up to 1080p at 60, so it is almost exactly like the iPhone XR front camera too. But the bigger thing is that this one is an ultra wide sensor. So the benefit of that is that if you're somebody who wants to go ahead and, be in one of those Zoom calls or, FaceTime calls or whatever, the iPad mini 6 has that capability of that spotlight mode or whatever it is, that it can actually track you if you're moving around. So I think that's a really cool feature as well, and that is without a doubt one of the biggest changes with the iPad mini 6, and the base model iPad also supports it. So that is another massive advantage for this specific iPad. Is that the biggest reason to go from that iPad to this one? Probably not, but I think it's still a really good increase and a really good upgrade. So between the cameras, the iPad mini 6 is definitely the better one, but the mini 5 camera is still really good too for the most part. For an iPad, depends on how much you're going to use it, to be honest. So that pretty much covers it up there. Now